welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another pen for review. Now this pen was sent to me by Mike Green, who is a pen maker in the US. The pen actually arrives in this sort of flannel pouch, and this pouch is actually made by Mike Green's wife. So all of his pens arrived like this. So they don't actually arrive in a box, but in a pen box, but they do arrive in a box with a lot of jiffy padding to safeguard the pen and come in this flannel pen pouch. So if I just unravel the tie there, you can see there it will pop out eventually. And this is a pen that Mike sent in for review. So this is a pen that he sent in for review for me to review the pen for him. Now this is a material made by Atlas Supplies called Juma Golden Dragon. And I have to say, these dragon scales really do look quite captivating. There are some dark areas, but there are also some really, really bright areas of this dragon scale. And I have to say that I've seen Mike making some of these pens in various colours. I think I've seen a red and a green as well, maybe. This is a really, really nice material. And the material is actually thermoformable and thermoset, making it incredibly versatile and easy to work with in terms of turning the pen. Now, the pen Mike has supplied, so this is a slightly rounded off edges. I would say that the quality of workmanship on this is really good. It's polished to a very, very high standard, and you can see my studio lights there reflecting off of that pen. And if I unscrew the cap, you'll see here he's fitted it with a number 6 size Bock two-tone steel nib, and this one Mike said was a broad nib. Now, interestingly enough, Mike actually gets all of his nibs from Kirk Spear. So all of his nibs are actually hand tuned by Kirk Spear at Penrealm. So you should find that these nibs write very well out of the box. I know a lot of people do complain about buying pens with nibs and then not writing out of the box. This should actually, having the nib tuned by a nibmeister ahead of time, should actually help resolve that kind of issue. Now, if I unscrew the body here, you'll see it's got a different converter. And this is a TWSBI swipe converter. Now, this pen will not only accept TWSBI swipe converters and cartridges, but also standard international converters and cartridges as well. The benefit of the TWSBI swipe converter is that it holds around 1.5 to 1.65 milliliters of ink. And if I unscrew or pull off the converter there, you'll see that that is a really, really large converter. So it's actually nice that you can put a larger converter in there, and you can just twist that, and you can see it is a very oversized converter, and it just gives you a lot more ink, probably about twice as much ink. In the size of my hand, though, this is a really good size. As you know, I probably like, from past videos, I like larger, not only longer, but thicker, girthier pens, and this certainly does it for me. The section here has a very slight concaveness to it. Not a lot. You can't see it massively, but you might be able to see it here on that side. It's just a slight concave section. You've got the threads there, a slight step down, which is very well polished. So I know a lot of people complain about sharpness, A, of the threads, and B, of a step down, and this is, I want to say, as smooth as a baby's bottom. It is really smooth. So I think Mike's done some really good work there. In terms of retail price, this pen comes in around about $190. If you do mention myself, Penultimate Dave, when buying one from Mike, then you will get a 15% discount. And his website is mikespenfun.com. You can't post the cap on this pen. It's not designed to do so, but that doesn't bother me. It's a decent size pen. I really do find this of a very good length. And I do think that the material here is really good. The pattern lines up always, and that again is a nice touch there. And the way that this material is produced and cut, it really does look like a dragon scale, or in this case, a Juma golden dragon. Now, Mike did say that he was going to send a pen to me, and I was kind of hoping it would be this brown color. I didn't ask for a specific color, but this color really, really does speak to me. I think it's a beautiful color. So I've got this here for review, and I have to say I'm really liking the pen. So I think with that, we'll do a size check, we'll do a weight check, we'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. And I'm going to see if I can try and stop it from rolling away. So the full length of the pen, we are looking at about 147 millimeters in length. The length of the cap is 65 millimeters in length. And then what we'll do is we'll do a length of the body there. And to the tip of the nib or tip of the tines, we're looking about 140 millimeters. So I always say 132 millimeters for the body is oversized. And definitely I would say that this is an oversized pen. It actually feels really good in my hand. And I have to say that I'm actually liking how it feels. The material is very well polished, and that just makes it feel nicer in my hand. So I think with that, let's do a weight check. Now, this does have the TWSBI swipe converter in, but you can put an international standard converter in there. So the swipe converter is going to add a little bit more weight. We are looking, let's see if I can try and stop it from rolling, just over 27.5 grams in weight. The weight of the cap, we are looking at just under 7 grams in weight. And then the weight of the body, we are looking at, try and stop it from rolling, just under 21 grams in weight. So that's a pretty good weight of pen. Not too heavy, but all equally not too light. But you can just see that this material is really captivating. There's a lot of chatoyance going on in that material, and I have to say I am liking that material a lot. So I think with that, let's do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 01, we have a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 05A, a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 06, a Mr. Cypress, and this is the Maquier Goldfish, a Mr. Cypress, and this is the Varden Mosaic number 4. We have a Mike Green pens, and this is the Juma Golden Dragon. We have a Gilbert House pens, and this is the Blue Box Elder Burl. We have a Gilbert House pens, and this is the Green Mali Burl. We have a Jinhao or brand X550 in blue, and a Jinhao brand X550 in green. So I think let's now go and do a writing sample. So this is the Mike Green, and this is the Juma Golden Dragon. And it is a broad, and it's a steel nib. And this nib has been tuned by Kirk Spears. And this is of Penrealm. Now, the ink in here today, I put in diamine, and it is ochre, which I think is a good match for the colour of this pen. In terms of line variations, I'd definitely say we're seeing a little bit more towards a Western broad on this. I could push it a little bit more. It is a steel nib, so I'm not going to want to push it too hard. And you're probably not going to get too much line variation or additional line variation out of there. But you can see there's no hard starts or skips on that nib. So the nib is tuned quite well. In terms of ink wetness, it's a decent wetness. And we'll do a cross stroke there as well. So it is quite a wet nib. It's not a fire hose nib, but it's a wet nib. So you can write with that in a notebook or journal and probably not take too long for the ink to dry before you turn the page. What do I like? What do I not like about the pen? Well, I have to say that I have been admiring Mike's pens quite a bit that he's been making over the last couple of years. I have been on numerous Zooms with Mike more recently, and he offered this pen up for review. I have to say the pen is very well made. I really am liking the finish, the polish to that pen. I know polishing does take a lot of work for pen makers to bring it to that almost glassy sort of sheen or shine on the outside of the pen. I like the material that Mike's used here from Atlas Supplies, the Juma Golden Dragon. It really is a nice material, and this does come in varying different colours as well. I do like also that Mike is thinking more outside of the box. Most custom pen makers do stick with cartridge converter pens, and when I say cartridge converter, I loosely mean standard international converters. Mike is actually thinking more outside of the box here and looking at using converters like TWSBI swipe converters that hold double the ink capacity. Likewise, Jinhao 9019 converters, he's used those in the past as well. And likewise, he's also created some sections with number 8 size Bock nibs, like the titanium nibs, but also Jinhao 9019 nibs. So Mike is really pushing the boundaries and exploring more when he's creating these pens, and I do like that. I do like that we're not just stuck with a standard international converter. A lot of people in the community think that standard international converters are either cheap or they don't hold much ink. You could argue a TWSBI swipe converter is still a converter and it's still cheap, but it holds double the ink capacity, and it's actually holding more than, in most cases, a standard piston mechanism would hold in a pen. So from that perspective, I am really liking this quite a lot. Mike also gets all of his nibs through Kirk Spears, and all of those nibs are tuned by Kirk. So you should hopefully have a nib that writes out of the box. That is a common complaint from a lot of people in the community, that they'll buy anything from a cheap to an expensive pen and the nibs don't write well, they're scratchy. This nib writes very well. It is a broad nib, it's not over polished. It does actually write very well, very, very smooth, maybe with just a little hint of feedback to it. But I don't mind that. I think that's actually good. So I think Mike goes that extra mile to actually create a pen that is essentially pushing the boundaries there of what we're used to. And he also has his wife make the pen sock as well. So I think, again, that's a nice personal touch. So I think when you couple all of that together, it actually creates a nice pen. And as I mentioned, this pen retails for about $190 US. If you do mention myself, Penultimate Dave, when ordering, then he will give you a 15% discount off. I think $190 for this pen, I think, is worth it. I think the TWSBI swipe converter is a little bit more, but ultimately, I think that's a really, really good thing. There's nothing I dislike about this pen. I do like the pen a lot. It's the right size for me in terms of length, certainly in terms of girth, in terms of thickness of the pen. And it's got a Bock nib, and I typically do prefer Bock nibs, although I do know that Mike can do Bock and Yovo nibs as well. I think Mike, from what I've seen, typically goes for more Bock nibs, but I think he can get both nibs there as well. So there you have it. That's my unboxing review of the Mike Green Juma Golden Dragon in a broad steel nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.